Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Talks with Fawole. We have the voice behind the camera, we have the wizard, and we have Quincey in the studio. It's my pleasure to introduce you. I'm excited to be in the studio, mate.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing to say, but yeah, I am.
We've known each other for quite a few years, you know what I mean? So, like I said, we've been passing ships with different shows. So it's nice to come in and just bless the stage.
And have a conversation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, how do we know each other?
Well, I've been doing comedy for over 20 years, so I would say between 10 and 15 years.
Yeah.
We've seen each other on and off. So it's been a journey for a lot of us. You know what I mean? So
like life is, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. But whenever we've seen each other, it's always been a positive conversation.
Yeah.
We just moved on
and funny
and done our thing. That's the very important thing.
I always like about whenever I see you, whenever I've got an image view in my head, it is what it is. But it's your voice, the cockney that's coming out of you, and you're just there, and just you smile as well, your energy, you've got an energy about you, Quincey, and you haven't lost that energy from all the years I've known you, you know? Like even now you've still got energy there, it's a lovely thing, but it's a cheeky kind of energy as well. Like.
That's one thing I've always said to myself, I'm not going to change who I am, and I do a lot of black shows and stuff like that, but listen, I'm East London, born and bred, you know what I mean, I'm Canning Town, you can't get any more East London, Canning Town, you know what I mean, just be yourself, you know, anything. Whether you're from Rwanda, that's just in the news, or Canning Town, just be yourself, mate, just be yourself, and I always myself, you know, as I say, East London, I mean, cheap, chabby.
So what is your origins? Tell me this.
So origins originally, it says black but we're African, that's first and foremost.
What part of Africa?
No. Originally.
Originally African.
I should be telling you that.
Okay, your heritage. Alright. I'm going specifics. No.
Born and bred. So I always say, when people say, where are you from? I say, I'm African, via Barbados, end up in Canning Town.
Your parents?
My parents are from Barbados. Both my parents are from Barbados. But like I said, I always embrace my Africanness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where we originate from.
And then coming up in Canning Town, in a Bajan home.
Bajan home, yeah.
How was that?
It was right. I mean, Beijing it's
I love it. Beijing!
in the Barbadian home, it's no different to any other Caribbean home. I mean, it's just that we're a bit more relaxed than other Caribbean islands, so to speak. We simulate more with the British, but our accent is clearly so. Like our foods are like the foods in the house. Like if I have some of my Jamaican friends come around, like Bajans have like a thing called sweet bread and pudding and sauce and all them thing and ackee and like a lot of my Jamaican friends didn't have a clue what I was eating.
Sweet bread and toast. What is that?
Sweet bread is just basically like a cake. You know what I mean? It's just like you bake this cake. It's sweet. This is why in Barbados there's a lot of diabetes. There's a lot of wonderful people in Barbados. Because the diabetes kicks in about 23.
It's a lot.
But it's one of them cakes where it holds you. So when money was tight. So we're in Jamaica, they'll have like journey cakes, festivals. You know what I mean? Them food that hold you. But when you're out there, you've got the sun to burn it off. You know what I mean? Yeah. So basically, Bajan foods, dumplings, all the kind of food, You know what I mean? Like powdered yam, them foods that they hold you in it. So the sweet bread is it's like a dessert. You know what I mean? You have a cup of tea. You know what I mean? When your mum or dad used to cut it, it used to be like harder bread, but the sweet bread was proper thick.
What is it for cut?
Yeah, it was like a doorstep. You know what I mean? It was like one of them things that you couldn't put it in a container for packed lunch because the packed lunch would break. And when you take it to school, like that would be part of your packed lunch.
And would you just eat just like that, just a slice? No, just
slice? No butter, no, because it's already sweet enough as it is.
So
you don't put butter on it. You know what I mean? You just have the sweet bread. It's got like currants or coconut stuff like that. And then you take it to school and you have it. You've got to have a drink of it. You can't eat it straight. You've got to soak that shit.
You didn't have school dinners?
No, I did have school dinners at first, and then I got banned.
Why?
Because I used to, most people go to school, they're bullies and like for fights in it, and they used to like cause trouble. I used to jack people's after.
Wow. So what is that? Wait, is that because you didn't like sweetbread or what?
No. It was just the fact I was just a greedy cunt. It was. So on a Friday, if I knew they were doing apple crumble and custard,
yeah, it was a problem.
It was a problem. I used to take it. I said, literally, you don't want that, do you?
So how would you take people's food?
I was big, just took it. I was just like, I don't think you want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's the people who...
Considering that we're in the house.
People that you stole it up from.
The doggies on the pass, yeah.
They're waiting for
the ghost of the apple crumble pass.
Yeah, so you take people's desserts, yeah?
On a Friday. I did on a Friday, I was considerate because Friday was apple crumble and custard, and I love apple crumble custard.
Yeah. I used to love school dinner.
Yeah, so I used to have mine, and then obviously they don't even be young in it. The younger lot used to come in, and they just, oh my God, Quincey's going to... Because it was like, our school dinners was alright as it goes, you know what I mean, the crumble, and I knew some of the cooks, because they did it from primary school.
They used to come in silver tins?
No.
We used to make it on site?
Yeah, make it on site, you know what I mean, and it was in the in a like a train.
Yeah, silver train, huh?
Yeah, silver train and things.
Silver dinners used to be nice, man.
Like prison to us. It was nice.
Yeah, it was like prison food. Considering it, I've been to prison.
The outlook, and I'm going by what we see on TV, because I ain't been in prison either.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
But from the outlook, I used to go and get your food, it was like, this is prison.
Yeah, and it had the silver trays as well, but sometimes it was really nice. And it was something different from home. For me, I think my thing was, I wasn't getting fed the same thing at home, and the cake and custard I never got at home, because cake and custard was for me definitely one of the things I used to make. Cake and custard, like the apple crumble, sometimes the rhubarb crumble, there's some caramel tart. I used to love all of that. I never took people's
it was me and some
I made friends and like, can I have that off the dinner they
I was straight. See, the youngsters back in the days to take mobile phones, I was taking custard.
Cake and custard.
Fridays, so I got banned.
Yeah.
I got banned, and basically,
do you ever?
I was bringing packed lunch.
Yeah, sorry to cut you on the end of your thing. She had to wait with it. Sorry, because I said you were sorry. I said, really take me part of the story. So what happened? Why did the teacher come Quincey? Why not?
It was teachers. It was just like queuing up was normal, and just got carted off.
Yeah.
Mr. Broom, you're going to be coming with us today. So what do you mean?
How old is you?
13.
Yeah, God.
13, 14.
Yeah, God.
So where we going? Because you're going to be having your lunch in here from now on. Told your parents. And your parents find out, why are you teething the people? Crumble for is that what? I got my parents like, if you do something like they don't get, they will question it. I don't get why you was dead. I'm eating cook for you, so why would you take? Didn't you get none? Yeah, I got some there. Yeah. Oh, why would you want more?
It's a trick way. Like, I got in trouble in school. But I got in trouble in school like for other various things like fighting, that, breaking stuff and all that. But never like you took apple cake. It's just so it's a nice one. It's a nice one.
All the gangster things to get detention for. You know what I mean? You got kids in there going to school for fights. You know what I mean? Shooting.
Was you banned for the whole time?
Huh?
Did you come off banned at any point?
Yeah, when I left. I was on a 2-year ban. I was like an Instagram post. I got a 2-year ban. I didn't imagine that came into my left school, blood.
No. What school was it?
Trinity.
Where's that?
In Canning Town, Barking Road, which is now Park McDonald's.
Yeah. That's no school, yeah?
Yeah, and there's like, I think there's a Tesco's there now. Yeah, and it changed a couple of times. But my school, Trinity, it was one of them schools, my parents sent me there because it was the only uniform school in Newham. So we had like Woodside, Eastleigh, Cumberland, and there was a lot of Asians and blacks.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of black boys. It was a boys' school as well, the only boys' school. Very high academic school. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was only high academic because the Asians were there. Yeah, that's the only reason. Only the Asians and Chinese, they were intelligent as fuck.
The Nigerians were usually always smart as well, though.
No, but when I was going to school, there was only the odd Nigerian,
African
there. So it was mainly West Indians when we was growing up in the early 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the African contingency came pretty much after. So my boys' generation, you know what I mean? It's like my boys' schooling, it's like they're one of the few West Indian kids, like African kids from all over.
Your boys, your child?
Yeah, my boys, yeah. So my boys, my oldest is 29 next week.
Wow.
And the youngest is 27, so
wow.
A lot of their friends.
Looking good, Dad.
Try it, man. That's what I told you. I gotta keep on my toes for my sons, man, because just in case they try it, you know what I mean? When I hold me up and shit.
You ready for them, yeah?
But seriously, man, they started putting size, man. I went back to boxing.
Yeah.
They're gonna jab me for my pension.
I don't want to get into that. But in school, how was see, we lost me that one now. School, how was it for you in school?
I know what. Apart from the school dinners jacking, I never really got in trouble in school. You know, I was a real likeable young man. Yeah. I got into most teachers, and I was like most years. I tell you what happened.
Was you comedic? Was you?
No, I was never really comedic, but I was just likeable.
Okay.
So what it was, I had a fight in the first year of my school. In secondary school. So the first week or two, I got into a fight.
Yeah.
So you got, obviously everyone's like, right, who's top boy in the school and all that kind of crap. But I actually had a fight with one of the best fighters in his school.
Yeah, in his school.
Yeah. And
didn't tell that last week then. That's what you're saying.
No, I won.
Oh, there you go.
I passed his ass.
Yeah.
And when I have to do with mean strength, it was literally. This has been the times have changed because it was like after school.
Oh,
okay. Them days after school. That shit ain't happening now. What went to school for? Do that.
Yeah.
So it was after school. Imagine them days, innit? You tell another kid you're dead after school. I need to do this homework first.
People told me that. That's happened to me, man.
Man, so after school, so you got the whole day to think about it. But that was weird because it happened around like playtime.
First play.
The second play. Yeah. So after, and so we had the whole lesson. I had the whole lesson to work out tactics. Well, how am I going to beat this one?
Or how am I going to escape?
No, I never run.
Because
I was too big. So
I used to run, mate.
Nah, I was always being. I was a fat kid. I was thick. I was solid.
Yeah.
So I wasn't wobbly fat. I wasn't Jabba the Hutt fat. I was just thick. A sumo wrestler fat. There you go. You know what I mean? But I used to run it off. You know what I mean? I had good feet. And it was. And that's why I never run. Not because if I could, trust me, I would have. But it's like, well, no point in me running because I'm gonna get caught. So I might as well fighting it. That's why I just stood there.
Get caught with no energy as well.
As well, you running and they're gonna bust your ass because you're tired running. But just staying in, use your energy fighting. So basically, and I'll never forget this. I can say his name. His name's Andrew Messiah. His name was Andrew Messiah, big boy from Portway, and told me to fuck my mum. You know, you can't say the things to black boys. And he's another black boy. You said what? You know what I mean? And I said, well, I was proper cunning, and he was calling me a sellout by how I talk. You said what? Fuck my mum. Are you dopey, cunt? Are you dopey? Anyway, so I said, alright, see you after school. You see. So we met after school, and then so everyone's like, it's got around, and And my cousin, who was in a couple of years above me, this was my motivation. I love my cousin for this.
What's his name?
My cousin's, you know Boogie Boy? You know the Boogie Boy?
I've seen that boat.
His brother. So he said to me, if you lose this fight, I'm going to bust your ass.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the only motivation I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wiped the floor with him. And after that, I never had a fight.
Yeah, you didn't need to.
Because
it goes out there at school.
Yeah, you go for. I didn't go. I wasn't that guy who looked for trouble.
Yeah.
But I happened to have. I beat.
Propensity to address it.
Yeah, I beat the top boy.
Oh, okay.
And I never had no fight, so they knew I could handle myself.
Off the cuff, straight off the cuff.
Yeah, I could handle myself. You know what I mean? There was a couple of scuffles, but my cousin was there, so they knew. I used to go hang out with some of the older kids.
Yeah.
And it's quite weird as well because I used to hang around a lot of white boys, ex football hooligans. So I knew their dads, and so it was like when these white boys used to come to the school and say, "Oh, it's Quincey, man." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, who's just NF looking guys? You know?
How was that for you, being in Canning Town? How it was back in the day? What was that for you like then? Did you experience any of that? How was that?
I never experienced racism. I knew about it, but I can honestly say in the area I grew up in Canning Town, never had it. We used, and I tell you what the difference. We used to play football, blacks versus whites. Growing up, and
as you do,
and it was calm. It was calm. You know what I mean? I knew it was about, but it was literally. And it was quite weird because the top boys for West Ham were black.
Okay.
So I mean, the older lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
West Ham area.
Hooligans.
Football.
The hooligans.
So where I lived, there was a lot of
firms.
Yeah, so the firms and obviously the Peacock Gym and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I lived too far from there. So if I didn't know the older lot properly, but I knew I used to go to school with their
kids or little brothers and sisters.
Their children.
Yeah.
So for me, I never experienced it. They welcomed me in their house. Like, I mean, because I was their sons or their. Not so much daughters' friends, because I mean they weren't there no black man. Alright, you can look around with my son, but my daughter, fuck off. You know what I mean? Trying to break it in, having a black friend in the first place. Don't fuck around with my daughter. Don't fuck it up, son.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. And as well, my dad was really lax as well. My dad used to like gamble, so all the older lot knew my dad. Yeah. My dad used to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was like, he wasn't like a gambler, like we were homeless kind of gambler, but he used to go down to the betting shop.
That was his release maybe at the time.
That was his
kind of
yes.
Release, you know what I mean?
Social, wasn't it?
It wasn't
it was social. It was a social place.
Yeah,
in that sense, yeah.
So all the older lot used to go inside there, and they knew that was my dad. Yeah. You know what I mean? So no one troubled him. But it's really weird because I remember like having a 16th, no, was it 16th or was it an 18th birthday party? That's where I met college. So I met different people from different areas, and like outside of like Newham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember I said, right, I'm having a party, and he's like, oh, where is it? I said, Canning Town, and they was like, we ain't going Canning Town. And I was like, what do you mean not going Canning Town?
It was like that sometimes.
It was
like that.
Yeah, and
if he wasn't from there, as far as I'm concerned.
If he wasn't from there.
I know, excuse me. As far as I know, so excuse me for the names, but yeah, he couldn't go.
Yeah, but I never experienced it. But I never said to people, he took you rubbish, because I knew it happened.
Yeah.
But I never experienced it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I knew there were times, because of who I knocked around with. Yeah. I know there were people who didn't really check for me because of my colour of my skin, but they never said anything to me. Yeah. Because when they were racist in their house, or when I walked off or something like that, and their friends. So that was good for me. It was good for me.
Okay.
But I never really had it.
Okay.
Do you feel that's one of the reasons why you could fight? Because like a lot of people, when you come up in white areas, it's a bit more fighting orientated.
Well, if you look at the history, like I said, Cass Pennant, when he was adopted,
Cass
Pennant, he grew up in Canning Town, and he was the top boy in Canning. He had to fight. They were going to lick off his head. If you didn't fight, they would lick off your head. So you had to defend yourself. You know what I mean? And there's another one with a boy of West Ham, Nigerian. There was a lot of Nigerian parents used to leave their children in East London, and he became adopt him, and then they had to fight. So if you look at any areas like West Ham and Bermondsey, Millwall, the top guys are normally black. Yeah. Not because they've risen for the ranks, but they've earned their respect because they can have it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Once you're from the area, it's really weird because once you're from the area, it's any area in it. If they know you from the area, they can leave you alone.
Yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. There's definitely that. But there's also probably the fact of your demeanour as well. Like you said, you was a lump to a certain thing. You could probably have it as well. If you was a bit skinnier, they might have taken the piss out of you a bit more. Yeah. And that just goes with just bullying and just in general. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's how you carry yourself in it.
Yeah. But even that,
there was skinny guys that didn't have it though.
There was some people but like he said, for me, there's definitely some people I knew growing up, definitely coming up around here, that would be like, hey, what's happening? And then to someone who looked exactly the same as me, who was from another area, they didn't know, they didn't see the regular basis, the M-word, this, this and that, they'll get all sorts of shit will be coming out their mouth.
So, I mean, I'll give you a little example. So, one time, I had this, I'll say his name, his name's Jason, I won't say his name. Basically, we grew up, my mum and his mum worked together in the hospital. and Jason was in each other's house. You know what I mean? Didn't go to the same school, but whenever we saw each other, like back in the day, like if your parents working nights, I used to stay around there, vice versa. Anyway, so like you grow up, and I'll never forget my cousin said to me one day he's getting hassle from these boys. So I was like, getting hassle from these boys, and he goes, yeah, it was they knocked chips at my hand, they were calling me N-word, and so I was like, what? So I said, oh, all right. I dismissed it, but he was uncomfortable. So I was with him and a few other friends, and then he went, Quincey, that's them over there. And it was an eye opener for me. So when I looked, I recognised, and he pointed at Jason. So he was like, that's the main culprit. And I was literally like, Jason? And he went, yeah, he's the one who's calling me the N-word and knocked the chips up my hand. And he's with all his mates. So I said, come. And I walked over and I went, Jay, did you call my cousin? And there's the classic, I didn't know he was your cousin. But did you use the N-word? And it was a reality check. It was a proper reality check for me because there's this man being at my house, he's eating the most black food, and I've eaten his mummy bland food, you know what I mean? And it was just like, boy, you think you know someone, but you don't. And it's how people flex when they're around the peer groups. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's one thing, like I said, I've always been myself, regardless if I'm around a bunch of yardies, Africans, Cockneys, I'm always myself. You know what I mean? I don't move with the crowd like that. And yeah, that actually hurt me. You know, that really hurt me because I've known this boy for the longest. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because
like a betrayal, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's like pop a fox in the hand.
Yeah. But yeah.
So this is
what happened after that then?
I was upset. I just told him to come and I just made it aware that was my cousin.
Yeah.
And I just left it. I just left it.
How was it? How many brothers and sisters? You got brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest of three.
Oldest of three?
No sisters.
Three boys? Oldest of four of you?
No, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. There's three of us.
How's that? What are they up to? How do they fit into your life?
Some of my younger brothers, I had three. I've got a brother who's an accountant, very intelligent. He's the second one. There's 3 years between all of us. Yes, my second brother's 3 years younger than me. Very intelligent, at university. Now he's an accountant, manages accounts for a council in Aldgate. My younger brother's 3 years younger than him. He's a prison officer.
Nice. Fucking hell, you scared me.
He's
in prison. Sorry, he's in prison for 25 years. That's a violent. Sorry.
You don't talk. That one don't talk. But that's the one that don't talk is the one.
You don't talk to him, or he just doesn't talk.
He just doesn't talk. He listens. He's quiet. Okay. But that's the one. I always say that's the one that kill you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he talks when he needs to. Yeah. And he's very artistic. He's a poet.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
He was great with his wordplay. And he's the most calmest brother. Actually, I love him for it.
What's his name?
Michael.
So he's not Michael, right?
Yeah, he's the most calm. And it's like, sometimes I said to myself, who's that oldest at me? Because he looks at a situation and he looks at all angles. So, you know what I mean? And instead of just jumping in there, he would look at all situations and handle it. And he's in the perfect job. Yeah. He has no issues with none of the prison. They all chat to him. Yeah.
You're proud of him. What's your other brother's name?
Brian.
Yeah,
he's the brain. He's the one my mum always...
favourite?
No, I say financially favourite because he helps her out with the money. Yeah. And so they go to my second brother for like anything she has done, anything to do like private with the family, she goes to him, he sorts it out.
Do you know what I want to say to you, right? Being a sibling, like the other siblings out there, siblings in the room, whatever, like I have those, there is that kind of hierarchy in my family as well. But it's not, I'm not saying that she loves, it doesn't mean she loves you any less. But it doesn't mean she loves you any less. Like everyone's got their places within the thing.
Right.
And like sometimes we feel like, because my mum will be like, oh, hoover my mum's house sometimes. Mum will be like, oh, your brother don't hoover, you always hoover. But my brother, that's the kind of thing where my brother might feel like he's not doing something. This is the basic level. Yeah. And everyone's got their things that they do, you do for for your parents if you're a good child, which I'm
I'm the most flexible one, so I always pop around in and see where mum is and stuff like that. I mean, they do that, but I will pop around in and see how they are. And what's happened is worked out that my oldest son, since my dad died, obviously, so my oldest son, thanks. My oldest son lives with my mum now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like just...
That's an extension of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just exactly, that's a prime example of what we were saying as well. So that would be like, she'd be like, yeah, Quincey's a good boy. Quincy's son's taking care of me, and then your other son, he's a good boy. He's taking care of the fire, like I said.
Lives with my mum.
Do you know what I mean?
He won't pay rent in my house. So he lives with my mum.
It's nice. It's nice.
He lives with my mum now, so
that's nice.
It's worked out, and that's how it is.
So, what's the worst thing you ever done growing up? You know, like, got a bollocking for coming up.
The worst thing?
Yeah, but it's just like, not like terrible, like going to jail, but just got in trouble for. I perceive as you've got your hands on the cookie jar once or twice, anything like that, nothing.
Worst thing done? Done debt collecting.
You done debt collecting? That must have been hilarious.
Yeah, that was...
with who and how and when?
It was for a firm, but it was... I don't know what I was doing. I got kicked out of my house, and I was like, I just needed easy money. I was 17.
It happens, yeah. It's around the time.
I got kicked out at 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? You think you're bigger than your parents.
Yeah.
And then you just
what was that?
No, I just thought I was coming in late, or I weren't taking responsibility. You know what I mean? Just in general. I think as a young person, you're trying to find yourself, but you react a certain way. And, I mean, your parents are saying you can't be doing this in there, so I left.
Okay.
I was like, I left. My mum nearly killed me. She nearly poisoned me. My mum actually went to poison me. I never.
How poisoned you how?
Listen, I came in like early hours in the morning, and then as you get up, my mum was tidying up, and then poured the cornflakes. I say it's a station, but to pour some cornflakes. I poured the cornflakes in the bowl, and my mum was just looking at me. Yeah, and I got the milk and I put it in there, and something happened. I turned around, and to get the sugar, I came back, and then my mum was just looking at me. I just tasted it. So by the time I looked round, my mum put Ajax in.
Wow.
And she's like, I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! No, is this gonna kill you? When my mum gets upset, she makes the words just get all into one. I'm gonna kill you!
Wow.
Like, oh, time to go.
You left straight.
What?
Yeah.
I had to. But I understand, I push my mum to that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I push my mum to those limits, you know what I mean? You know, black parents don't play that shit. You know what I mean?
So there's lines.
Yeah, there's levels, you know, and it's like, I push my mum's level. You know what I mean? And that was the final straw. They just coming in, treating the house like I said, like a hotel, taking the piss. And like, she put the Ajax in it. I'll never forget that Ajax. She looked at me. Now, why's she looking?
You also turned around for longer than you thought as well.
You know what's really funny? I never took the sugar in there, so like, you know the sugar's not far from the syrup, innit?
Yeah.
So it's like, this woman had this Ajax in her pocket.
She was drinking the milk.
It ain't like I went upstairs. Like, I literally turned around and get the sugar. By the time I got back, she'd done it. That's like, I looked at it and I remember like, after we spoke about the thing, I said, boy, my dad's married to you. Wow. That's a damn mother. Yeah, Ajax, we'll never forget that story. Yeah, but that's, I mean, you know what? I was a dickhead when I was growing up, and I probably deserved it. You know, and it's quite funny because I know that if I would have killed over, she would have been the first one to cry.
Yeah.
First one to cry. I remember when I got, so I left home, you know, and not going to do debt collecting through some firms. And I was hanging around with the wrong crowd doing dickheads shit, and I got stabbed. And
where?
In Canada.
No, where in your body, mate?
Oh, where in the body? Oh, just by my kidney.
Your kidney?
Yeah, I got stabbed. This is a gangster issue. This is how craving I was for food. Yeah. So I remember I went to the cafe. I'm going to get some bacon sardine, hot chocolate, and these group of geezers, they were all drunk, chat shit. And one of them came over and just pulled out a blade. You think that you think to put the food down, innit?
Put the food down, right?
I had a fight over the food. I was juggling that shit. I said, this cost. I had no money.
Yeah.
I said, I am not throwing this on the floor. I don't care what you got in your hand.
Yeah, wow.
So one of them came over to me and I didn't even throw the whole
hot
chocolate. It was just like half.
Still wanted some of that.
Yeah, if I scold him, at least I could drink the other half in it.
So wait, so you didn't? I thought you spilled something. You just tried to throw half and say something.
So when he come towards me, yeah, I mean like that, and he hit me in his face. So as he hit me in his face, and I went towards him, and I went to hit him. You know what I mean? Still keeping the baking sign near him.
Wow.
The other kids came around and slapped me.
Wow. Yeah.
And then my cousin and my boy was upstairs. We lived in a flat. And then, that day was, I got rushed to the hospital. And then my mum used to work for the local hospital. So I didn't see my mum. I left home in it.
Oh, wow.
So that's the first time she saw me. And that's I saw my mum cry. You know what I mean? I was like, shit. Fuck, well done. Yeah, man. See, when you see your mum cry,
like that painful.
My first son, was that like, man. And then my dad came, and he's like, when he can't work out something, he was like I said before, he was like questioning, like trying to figure out. So when you truly had, when you never duck or spin, but you never disarm. That was army man. Okay. This poke in the eye or something. Wow. I had feeling man. But why you just put the foot in his sides? Give me 5 minutes. I'm just trying to. Trying to tube at me. He landed with the Columbo questions for a bit. He
just said, I've never really understood this shit. You know what I'm saying?
If you can't understand something, it's
So, like, was that a turning point for you, like, in what you were doing when you saw your mum crying? Like,
it was a turning point to what I put my mum through.
Did you, but then, and when I say that, was you received back home, or was the...
Oh no, I went back home for a bit, but then I left, because I realised, you know what I mean, like, I think there's a point as a young man, you need to leave home. You need to find yourself, like, you're at university, you can't be staying with your parents' house for growing arse ages. You know what I mean? Even though my boys are doing it, but it's like, I think times have changed, but you should be literally aiming to try and get your own independence by then, knowing what it's like to have life skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important, like, to understand the world, to even do that, to go and like make your mistakes, do this at the third without the what's the thing from the parents?
Cuddling.
Yeah, the shelter from the parents and the family and all that.
If you're doing things the right way, your parents will always back you the best way they can. But like I said, like I've got boys now, and the first sign of trouble, like my boys left home. I was in my house free for like 6-7 months, and it was the best thing in the world. And then the first time my youngest son, the rent got raised, motherfucker moved back.
But yeah.
And I was doing back here. And he didn't even tell me. He was just staying for like one day too long. Yeah. Like, and he's come and see me, but they come and see me now. Like the third day, was like, "Are you moved back?" He said, "Yeah." And I was like, "What did you move back for?" He goes, "Do you know?" I couldn't believe it. "Yeah, they put up the rent." Yeah. That's what they do. They do.
But even that in itself, quick.
And he couldn't fathom, like, why would you put up the rent? Check this boy's DNA, man.
Even that in itself is part of
Why would you?
It's like, that's the one I'm talking about. Learning shit. So he'll learn that when he comes back, at least maybe he might kick in.
Yeah, he ain't go back.
Understand next time what he's got to do. But it's important that boys move out. So, your relationship with your boys, how is that? Are they all from the same mum? Are they all like...
So my boys are with the same mum. She passed in '96. So I've raised my sons.
Rest in peace. Wow.
Yeah. Raised my
From
sons.
what age?
23.
Wow.
Yeah, 23. She's like 23 years old. They were 1 and 3 at the time. So I mean, I say raised them. I raised them, but I've had the help from my parents and their other grandparents and family, and me and my ex-partner's family are tight. They're my mum and dad as well.
Yeah, nice. God bless all the people you just mentioned.
Yeah,
and rest your mum, the mother of your children's soul as well.
Yeah, she done. That was a major turning point for me. I've never had no one pass close to me. My granddad died, but I knew my granddad, but I didn't know him. He lived in Barbados, so when he died, I was upset because my mum was crying. You know what I mean? So it wasn't direct, but when my partner passed, that destroyed me. That destroyed me.
And then you still had your 2 children to take care of during that as well.
Yeah, I did go off the rails a bit after that. I went off the rails a bit after that. I was getting into situations like fights. I didn't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? But everyone deals with grief in different ways.
So what? When you say that, like, so some people, like you saying, everyone deals with grief in different ways, and some people drink, some people do whatever. So was it like you was out and the littlest thing would trigger things?
Yeah. So like, if I felt like you were taking the piss, I would just flare up. But I would do it in situations where I could be killed. I didn't care. So then, like one time, I was in a club, and it was a simple station meeting, and the guy took me away, took my show away. Really, I didn't write to you, but at the time I thought, oh, you're taking the piss, and I said something, and he said something back. I just threw the table at him, and then the whole station, like 3 or 4 of the guys went to fight me. And some of the guys...
Radio station.
Radio station. And
Pirate station days.
Pirate station days, yeah. I didn't care. I didn't care. And like, and that's when my cousin was like, listen, you're not thinking of your boys. It was a reality check. Because I was literally saying, I don't care. You can take my life, I don't care. But I wasn't thinking of my sons.
The grief was that big when beside you.
Oh yeah. I was getting to stupid situations. I was getting stupid situations, but yeah. That's the thing I say, my motto now, I'd rather shed tears than blood. So I cry now. I mean, I've always cried, but I will feel no way. I wrote my show in 2009, Quincey Single Mum. And that's one of the first, she died in Quincey Single Mum.
Quincey's Single Mum?
Quincey Single Mum, yeah. So I wrote about me losing my partner, being a single dad, finding feminine qualities within myself.
Oh wow. Big.
And having to learn how to adapt to being a mother and a father, like most women do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I had to adapt that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't play in the house the role of just the dad.
Yeah.
I had to like learn that nurturing. I was very laddish. You know what I mean? So I wrote a show about it. And that was the first time, 2009. Big up Tony Hendricks, comedian.
Big up Tony Hendricks.
He helped me not write it, but format it.
Yeah.
And I spent more time crying in his house.
Yeah.
Because it was therapy for me.
Yeah.
It was therapy. It was the
first time Quincey
Quincey Single Mum.
Quincey Single Mum. Yeah, you to do it again.
I've done it actually 2019. In October, and out of that I got a 2-year book deal.
Okay, well done.
Like just say that sounds like a good book.
Like that.
Yeah, I called it Quincey Single Mum, Daddy's Issues, and then I've got a.
So you got a book out of that?
No, I'm in the middle of writing it.
Okay.
Yeah, what happened
look
was.
out for that book. What's the name again?
It's gonna be called Quincey Single Mum.
Quincey Single Mum.
Yeah.
Daddy Issues at the end of it. You said.
Yeah, that was just for a tag. You know,
okay.
But then obviously the pandemic kicked in, so.
Yeah,
I love the way you sit there.
Yeah, I love the way you sit there.
Sit what you
pandemic.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it was.
Yeah, go on.
Nothing else, mate. And I got a movie deal from it.
Wow, well done, man.
So
well done, good.
That's in talks. So
good.
Yeah, the pandemic slowed that down, but that's
good.
In talks.
Good. Put me in the film.
It's not up to me. I sold the rights.
Yeah, that's another always says the same thing.
That's it. True. It's a good answer.
You see Carly was right when he goes, "Now you stay right here." Come on. So that's interesting to learn about you, to even know that this chair is a bit thick. one man to another, being a father as well, to go through that and be here as well was only God knows and you know what is under the underculture, what's under you. You see the world through your eyes. That's the whole point of the show, like talking to people and understanding the difference and that. But that and having to raise your 2 children at that age and deal with that, how did you manage to get through it?
The love of both members of the family, you know what I mean, and my family the families kept me grounded. My friends kept me grounded, you know what I mean. I won't name Paul. Idris Elba was there for me.
Nice.
I mean, he's my oldest son's godfather, and he supported me 100%. Always with me, you know, my cousin Boogie.
Yeah. I know he's from the same manor, isn't he? All from the
all Canada. Yeah, when you used to see Idris talk about Hackney, from Hackney to Hollywood, he's fucking Canada.
Fuck off, don't forget where you come from, you cunt.
He probably said that with his agent, they're like, Canada.
I know the tan's good. Yeah. He was in Holly Street for like literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Canada.
So, comedy influences, because you're a comedian. You still, comedy influences.
I was going to ask, at what point did your comedic side, was it early? The
comedic side has always been in me. I wasn't one of them jokers in school.
Yeah.
But what it was, I've always done the entertainment. So DJing, I DJ'd first. Okay. You know what I mean? So me and Idris used to DJ Twice as Nice.
Yeah. That's big.
And a few other places.
What was your DJ then?
Quincy.
It was Quincey, but before that my original DJ was Funky D.
Funky D.
Yeah, so I remember that.
It's proper corny boy. Funky D. Sounds like fucking DJ Pedophile. I don't know why I fucking call you Funky D.
Them days, that's a really good name. Over time, names like age, sometimes they're ages, but that's probably come back around that name. That's still be good these
days. If he does, he's a nonce. There's a DJ called Funky D when he's fucking bacon. Funky D. Now, what was I thinking? They just said, wait, and another guy.
But why did D? This old ask you.
The D?
Yeah.
Oh, the D.
You know, like all this. Like,
so my first name, one of my middle names.
Yeah, go on.
My first name is Derek.
Your first name is Derek? Derek, okay.
And then the D came from.
Okay.
But no, I mean, for you to call me Derek, you have to know me. I won't answer.
Yeah.
You have to know me. You know what I mean? My family called me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Certain names, if someone calls you, even if you're on the street and someone shouts at you know that before you even look, you know it's old school.
Yeah.
You know
I would acknowledge it.
Have your kids ever done that? You know, like my kids have tried that.
What? Call you?
Call me by my name.
No, they call me Dad.
No, but you know, once or twice, you said sometimes they want to test you and fight you.
Oh, no.
Sometimes once or twice they've been tried it.
When they try and test me, it was like, because they were getting little size in it. So the play fights were getting a bit rougher.
Okay.
So I said, alright. And I had a bet with my sons. I said, alright, I'll tell you what to do here. So I told my eldest son, when he reaches 25, and I reach 50, my youngest son, when he reaches 25, and I reach 50, you will not be able to push more weights to me.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, alright.
He's where he is now, yeah? You're looking good, so.
Yeah, so they tried the play fights were getting. They did pin me one time, but they freaking.
They allowed you.
Yeah, they pinned me down, and it was like, it was from the blind side. I wasn't expecting it.
Okay.
And one time on my birthday, my birthday was at football when they tried to rush me with his mates. But I don't play that, man. I will bite.
Birthday beats.
Yeah, the birthday beats. Yeah. So one of his mates got hold of me, and I went straight to bite his balls.
Yeah.
You're not fucking get me that floor. Yeah, because you know, in days if you're on the floor and someone would kick you in it hard, and you would never know. And that kick or punch is coming from some shit you've done to me years ago. Because I said this at people.
Yeah.
So I know I'm getting a kick or a punch from someone that I've upset from years ago and they've held it.
So you did say it's because you're angry for you, you're taking the piss at people.
Yeah, I was a common reason I was taking the piss at people. Yeah. If you wore something different or you looked a certain way, and that was because I was always big, that was my coping mechanism.
Okay.
Say that happened to me. So I was very good with my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. So you being big, was that just something in your family or was that
real big? It was solid. Yeah.
So your comedic side, secondary school or after?
No, my family. It's always been in this.
I've
got an uncle. Uncle Richard Sullivan. My uncle was so funny. He was drunk, but he was hilarious. And just being around my family, it was just seeing certain situations and how they interacted. They were my biggest influence, my family. I talk about my family on stage, and it's like there were Barbadian people who could identify what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there were stories, like I said, the Ajax story is one of the stories I say on stage. And people really can't understand Bajans as they speak anyway, but to have him one who stutters, because my uncle's a stutter.
Yeah.
So having him
the drunk one.
The drunk one, yeah. So stuttering and having a Bajan accent is if you understand him with a Bajan accent, you're different than understanding him stuttering.
And a Bajan accent.
Have a drink.
So what? Comedy. Where is going now? How do you feel about that? Like, we're not talking about the Chris Rock thing with
Will Smith.
no, we will talk about that because it's part of comedy. I cannot talk about that. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this whole cancel culture. That cancel culture that came about recently as well. And then just throw it out there, right?
Well, cancel culture cancel culture is about because there are people who are in charge of comedy and platforms who don't understand the culture. And they want to control the culture. So one of the things is
the culture of comedy.
Of comedy, yeah. And the culture of comedy comes from people's pain. That's it. Some people's coping mechanisms. Richard Pryor, Robbie Williams, they come from a painful place.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Robbie Williams is a comedian as well.
Robbie?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought
He's
that was a singer.
No, he's a joker.
Really?
Yeah, I forget it. I tried it. It's like it.
But he's committed suicide, did he say?
Did he?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Robin.
No, Robin Williams is a great comedian.
Robin Williams is Take That.
Yeah.
No, not him.
Yeah, he's a comedian though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So, but no, we're talking seriously about comedy culture. Sorry, go on.
So for me, cancel culture is about because the narrative is being controlled by people who are not invested culturally of where comedy comes from. If you look at most comedians and their background, like Irish comics talk of pain. They talk from a painful place, and laughter was a coping mechanism. You look at black comedy, a lot of black comedy, Chris Rock says that they used to riff at each other on stage. Not on stage, we just sit in line and chill out outside the houses, take the piss out of each other. You know what I mean? And it comes from language and stuff like that. So what you find in one of the earliest things is when Kevin Hart got, he was going to host the Oscars and they pulled it because they pulled up a joke that he done like when he first early stages of his comedy, when he's talked about his son being gay and what he would do. And this is what I said, the people in control of platforms that we are not a part of, they can dictate what they're going to do. So they pulled him from that, and at no point did they say to Kevin Hart, you know what, that was with you then, that this is you now. They will look for any excuse. And this is my little conspiracy theory, you know what I mean? If you're black and you're in that platform, on their platform, you don't own your shit, yeah, that's when you can cancel culture, because they can't cancel Dave Chappelle.
I was going to say that cancel culture is only, I don't believe in it personally, but I believe in it because if you need someone, or you need this or that, because cancel it's not just in comedy, it's in all industries.
Anything.
So it's just if you let it happen, you can be cancelled.
So then, what do you say about people being allowed to make light of or make comedy or joke of something that isn't directly from them, like like a white person making a black joke, or
for me, there is no subject matter you cannot talk about. It's let the person use their intelligence, and if it might not come across, it's how you deliver it, and let the people use their intelligence if it's coming from a bad place. So I'm not going to use lazy comedy and say, I don't know, Africa's got ashy feet. Like, why would I say that? You know what I mean? That's just dumb. You know what I mean? What am I
I was like, there's an old chord in me, but I must have heard someone say that one time.
No, but this is the thing, you know what I mean? And this is more with West Indians and like growing up. Like, we used to take the piss out of Africans, you know what I mean? And it's like, but that's when I always say
that was from a place of spite, didn't it?
Yeah, and I don't say spite, from a sunken place because we didn't know each other. We didn't know who we were.
Okay.
So why would I take the pick? Like, if my African brothers and sisters are getting shit from white people, why am I adding to that shit for? You know what I mean? We're the same skin tone, the same melanin. So why would that? Well, because you speak a different language. So, but it takes you to know yourself to understand that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I've got it growing up because of my accent. You know what I mean? Called sellout and all that kind of stuff. But you know who I am.
On the black side.
Right. Yeah. So when I first I do shows on the black circuit, they didn't really check for me. I'm not going to change who I am. Yeah. I mean, like I said, black comes in all shapes and sizes, and we're not monolithic as black people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So like, I would judge a person's character instead of how they speak, of what they do. You know what I mean? So there were black people I can't check for. But if I say something which you might... Like, I cuss Andy Peters all the time.
Andy Peters?
Really, I cuss him all the time. But I give reasons why.
But no, I'm more saying like when they say you're talking about people from a different sexual background or people from a different culture or stuff like anti-Semitic stuff, like gay stuff,
right?
This kind of
so
stuff.
that
Then you've got people like Rude Paul doing their stand-up bits. I can't really recollect anything to mind, but there'll be some cagey stuff. Do you know what I mean? They've said some cagey stuff, but they come from certain worlds. So are they allowed to say it? You're not allowed to say it. Do you get what I mean?
Right. So this is the thing. Like, I've got material, you know what I mean, which I go there, but I want people to understand it is. I'm having a conversation. I'm opening up. Not just want to make you laugh. I want to make you to think to what I'm saying. Yeah. And with the trans or any gay material stuff like that, I always say from a black perspective, understand culturally how we've been raised. And I always say, for me to go on Britain's Got Talent or Live at the Apollo and chant down homosexuality, that'd be dumb. That's not my platform. I wouldn't even do it if it was a black platform, because then I'm talking from a bad place. But I will explain from my point of view, and this is what debate is all about, where culturally why black people are very uneasy with homosexuality.
Yeah. Okay, so now to me to correlate that, I feel that. So you should be able to explain your perspective on that given thing without offending anyone, because that is your perspective.
Right.
Once you're not saying like this, that and the third, but you're actually talking directly from your perspective, whether it is funny or not, that should be allowed. So that's what you're saying, and I get that.
And this is why...
You get that, Jay?
I do.
Sorry.
But I just think...
I agree with what you're saying.
In terms of allowed, I think a comedy's got a lot to do with freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, you know, like if you're an easily offended person, like don't go to certain comedy shows. Like try and find something light-hearted comedy. Or I don't know, maybe it exists.
Yeah, but you know, go on.
I just feel like, again, you know, there's racist comedies. Yeah, so, say let's go to that side. There's racist comedians.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're gonna have people that want to hear that.
Yeah.
And that's where their humour lies.
Right. So I go by just say Jim Davison.
Oh, I'm glad you went there.
Right. So Jim Davison, when I was growing up, he had a character called Chalky. Right. That was his perception of a black character.
Yeah.
And who he based it off.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I accept that's who he moved with, and it's old and hack now.
Yeah.
So but I'm not gonna be offended when he says it. You know what I mean? I've actually met him. I met him in Dubai. Yeah. But I understand he's from that generation, and there are people from that generation who are going to like that.
Yeah.
Because what he's really saying, right? It ain't like, as wrong as it might be, but he ain't challenging no one. He's just putting on the voice. And you know what? As black comedy, we do it. When we take and make an impression of white people, there's a voice. Every black comic does a white voice, like a Cockney. Yeah. Every black comic does a generic African voice. Yeah. Africa's a massive place.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's always going to be like a Nigerian-ish.
Exactly.
The man could be from Uganda.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But there's a generic, or Asian voice. So, I'm not going to do that kind of comedy because it's like, well, I don't want to add to the stereotype. I want people to think about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And I'm going to pinpoint. So if I say something about Nigerians, it's going to be in a situation where people can relate to Nigerians about it in that situation. But for me, cancel culture, you can only be cancelled if you allow yourself to be put in situations where you're not control of your destiny.
Yeah. Amen.
I'm sorry because I want to go live and I heard half of that and I need you to say it again. Cancel culture can only be...
Cancel culture, can only come about if you're not control of your own destiny.
Cancel culture can only come about if you're not in control of your own destiny. I hope you don't hear that at home. So now, I want you to give us some words of wisdom. Here you go. How you find it? Yeah, last question. But advice to any young comedians, anyone young artists coming up. But wait till he goes on the live, please.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so have you got any advice for any young comedians, young artists coming up, people trying to find their way in life?
I would say this not just for coming up, I would say this to any artist, own your stuff. Be in control of your destiny. And don't let no one dictate your future.
When you say own your stuff?
So own it, rights. So you, like for example, Ray Charles, they own their masters. You see a lot of these music artists, they own their masters, they own it. No one can't tell them, they put the work in, they own it. So that is generation wealth. And one of the things we do, and I'm saying this from a black perspective, we tap dance a lot for other cultures, but we don't own our stuff. And this is why Prince used the symbol slave on it, because he's putting the work in, and he wanted to own his stuff. I mean, Wiley wanted to own his stuff. You know what I mean? He's been cancelled because the bottom line, he's in another part of the industry which he was being dictated to, and he rose up and had a fight against it. And obviously we see where he's now. You know what I mean? But like I always say, I don't have to agree with what he said, but I understood why he was doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? And I go by this, just follow people like Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry gets a fight, because he put on wig and dress and Madeira and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? The man owns his own studios.
He's on Hollywood, basically.
He's his own Hollywood. Hollywood comes to him.
No.
He don't need Hollywood.
Hollywood's run down. Nah.
It's done.
Hear that? Own your stuff.
Own your stuff.
Own your stuff. Know yourself. Right. It's coming from Quincey over here.
And doing podcasts like these, because no one can take your truth away from you. Like this show would have been on something like This Is Your Life, where they could like edit stuff out. But this is why black podcasts or people they do so well. Because it's like no one can't share our story like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Our story is unique, and I'll say that, black and proud.
Come on. You're good for that. I like that. I like a lot of the stuff we covered today. So comedy wise, what's next on the horizon?
So I have a show called Extra Time Friday.
A podcast, so it's not the...
Yeah, so it's a podcast show, but I made it into like a TV kind of stuff, so on my channel. 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 10 to 1.
You got lungs in your 5 days a week, you can talk nice.
So I do...
What station?
Supreme. So I do talk shows every day apart from Thursday. Thursday's a music day.
Okay.
And I talk things from vaccine, which I'm going to be talking about when I go back tomorrow, the refugees going to Rwanda. But I was
going to ask you that because you brought it up. What do you lot think about that?
Taking the piss.
England paying for people to go to Rwanda.
This is the bottom line. The bottom line is this. They're not prepared to go to a place to go to Rwanda. You ever seen Rwanda on your TripAdvisor?
You know, Rwanda's really nice right now.
It's not.
I'm not saying it's nice. Do you think that they send them to that place? A nice place?
Oh, you're right.
There's that as well.
But what structure? Because you know, the last thing we knew was Hotel Rwanda. Yeah, and then from there, the country's been built up over the years silently.
No, but
to the point where they can just
a lot of stuff happening in Rwanda though. Especially trafficking.
But
and whose money's been built with? Because it ain't our money. So we've got to look at it like this. They're not going to this is blatant racism.
So what's actually happening as well? They're sending people
asylum seekers from Syria, Afghanistan, people of colour. That's the bottom line. They're sending anybody of colour to a place where they think, well, there's more people of colour over there, and they're shipping them over there, and they're bringing white Ukrainians in. End of.
Wow. You know what? I forgot about the other aspect of that.
That's the bottom line.
Because they was there before the Ukrainian war. I never heard nothing about this. Now they're paying out about 120 million or something. I heard them saying 160 million to Rwanda. That's the first payment to take these refugees to a country
where does that get more money?
There's no infrastructure that they're going to be able to work off of. Worse than where they're starting off at.
I'm just saying that they might be better off at Rwanda.
No, but how can you say that? Like, that's what I'm saying. They might be better off, but they might be worse off. Like, depending on where they come from. They came to England for the infrastructure.
But people come to England for the infrastructure and their children get killed.
But you can't. They come to this country. You can't send people to countries. You can't send people to a country where you've literally dismantled that country. The UK have something to do with Syria the way it is. The UK has something to do with Afghanistan the way it is. So if you can't send people, you can't come over here. Well, don't come over here and mash up a country, innit? You want to take my resources, but so we're not going to have resources. I'm going to go to the place I know. So
it makes sense. It makes sense. But you see, I'm not as astutely like with news and all these kind of things. For certain people, I'm the heir, so I don't really know. But I know, obviously, when it's like iffy going on, when someone's saying any refugee from here come here, we'll pay you this to take them over there, it don't make no sense.
I don't think England's the place it used to be either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it ain't.
So it's not that.
No, but they're gonna pay out. But they're gonna pay money for it though.
No, I'm saying like you see, like when people came here back in the day, like this is actually a place you can thrive.
Don't be too like, mate. If you come here fresh, you can still make money.
It's a bit harder for you to be fresh and make money. I'm saying, like, you know, like there's places like a lot of refugees go to places like Finland and there's a lot of places like Sweden their places are doing well as well. They're doing very good. They've got very clean countries as well. Sometimes when you travel, you're like, right.
This is why I love my African brothers and sisters here because they get. I've done gigs in Austria, like, and it's like below zero. And then you see an African brother just pop up. Like, what the fuck you doing there? It's a bit cheaper, my friend. But they're out there doing their thing.
Yes.
I performed in India. I saw my Nigerian guys selling cloth over there.
Yeah, see?
What the fuck you doing in India?
Come on,
man. You got booked in India though. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got booked out there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's so for sure in India.
I was literally out there all the time doing comedy shows.
There you go.
Like,
yeah, they loved it. Do you know? And this is the thing about culture as well. I went out. I was representing the Comedy Store, and I went out there the first time. One of the guys couldn't make it, so they said, "Oh, you want to go?"
So you filled in.
So I filled in, but I was opening up, and this is when I say that we know other people's cultures more than they know about us.
Yeah.
So we live in the UK, innit? So like we know Indian Asians. So I mean, I had done a lot of Asian references for the Asians.
No, especially living in the East as well.
And living in East London, right? So I opened up. So it was a big comic who was closing the show. But the second night, because I killed it, the second night I closed.
And you changed it around.
He changed it around. And I was always out there. And that's when I had DVDs. I took a bunch of DVDs, and it just literally a queue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and people don't know. I'm tired that whole narrative of this being the place of salvation.
It was a big place.
Yeah, it was a big place, and a lot of countries are functioning nicely. When you travel, you realise that. They kind of, the whole point of you being here, we were raised by people that came here because they thought this place was the wonderland. So we're still living under that narrative and feeling like we're better off than the people at home and that. Nah, man. Over the years, you realise that it's not really that.
I had a great conversation with Eddie Caddy. You know what I mean? And he said, you know what? Everyone loves to go to Hollywood. There's Hollywood in Africa.
Exactly.
So why would you make Hollywood in Africa? That's where Hollywood is. It's big, yeah.
It's like Tyler Perry made it in Atlanta.
There you go. And he built it on top of where slaves used to be.
Yeah.
That's big, mate.
Didn't know that. What's the story behind that? I don't know about that.
So the land he purchased, that that's where it was like an army base back this way. The slave ships. There were slaves who were sent there to be shipped out other places. So that was the plot where a lot of slaves were just holding pens. And so he bought that land and he built his Tyler Perry Studios on the top of that land where it was slaves. And that, to me, that's like symbolic. You know what I mean? It ain't no Tesco's, it ain't no, you know what I mean?
He's bringing stuff back in. Even though sometimes he wears a dress and stuff, it's alright.
He's respecting the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture.
That's what I'm saying.
You
see, those are the kind of things that we do as a culture. Is we highlight that.
The dress.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the level of how much greatness they've done. Yeah, we'll still highlight something that's. Do you guys what I'm saying to you? That doesn't really. It's not whether he wears it or not. It's not really going to change anyone's life.
Yeah, it makes no difference.
And it's not going to empower us or take the power out of us. They wear dresses all the time just for headlights.
So again, in the same breath, it shouldn't matter if it's said as well.
Yeah, because you thought there's a bigger picture.
I get what you mean, but if you understand what I'm saying, I think when it comes to we always talk about lack of representation, but when the conversation of representation comes out, we will be the first ones to pick at the person that's made the accomplishment.
That's right.
Good.
Sometimes the black community,
I'm just messing
I'm not messing outward. I didn't want to say that.
Go ahead.
And this is like, I know you go soon, but this goes round into the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing.
The slap.
Right, so you see Chris Rock, right, this is come from Chris Rock as a comedian perspective. That moment when you got slapped, yeah, Chris Rock, he hadn't spoken, because he recognised the power behind that slap. And there's a bigger picture to it, because there's nothing. And I said it at first, I said, well, man, you slap, man. But the bigger picture of it is that he's going to make money from that. And secondly, you do not get, and I'll take this from Earthquake comedian, you do not get to host an award at the Oscars if you are erratic. You've had to show them, I'm that guy in it. So trust me, if Chris Rock, do you think DMX, God rest his soul, would have, because they know he's erratic, so you're not going to trust that. But Chris Rock is a person, Jay-Z, them kind of people have manoeuvred himself in a position.
Professionalism. And
that's right, so him holding that slap, right, I'm not saying that he wasn't vexed, but he's thought there's a bigger picture to this. If I react now, it's literally diminishes black men indirectly, and it's like, well, I'm going to protect my ego. You know what I mean? Sometimes
you feel like if it happened to you, yeah, you're a comedian, but you can fight, yeah, and you're at a big show, someone that you kind of know as well. So comedian, you might have a little something between you. He comes up, this is a massive show, and he comes and he slaps you on stage, but you was quick enough to
But this is the thing, when you're from the streets,
comedically, you was quick, no, just in this particular time, you was quick enough to comedically say, why man slap me? And that, like, you handled it in at that moment. Yeah. Like sometimes with people don't understand as well, like there's sometimes you don't instantly react to things all the time anyway. Even on the streets, something might happen, but you might not instantly react to it straight away. Now I'm not saying me, or I've seen other people. I've seen people that might have been slapped or something, and they didn't instantly react. But give them within a minute of them computing what just happened, and then they go crazy. So with his professionalism, I felt like I saw there's a point where he was like, "Say." Like while the other award was being presented, like I saw him going in his brain, and someone said to him, "What?" Like, he was just like,
and he was there to give an award to Questlove.
Yeah.
So if he reacted, Questlove is the Roots, the drummer for Roots. He won an award for his show. There was a concert back in the day with all black Nina Simone and all those kind of guys. Summer of Love, I think it's called. But so you imagine if he reacted. Now is like Will Smith was already taking the shine away from the movie he won an Oscar for. So it's not about the Williams sisters. It's not about Richard Williams no more. No. It's about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock now. So imagine if Chris Rock now slaps or reacts to it. Now no one's gonna know about Questlove. Because he wanted to keep Questlove's night. He won an award for it.
Yeah. Even Thing won an award. Samuel Jackson.
Hey, yeah, that's right. I don't even know.
See,
who's that?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. Samuel Jackson won the award that day.
Yeah.
And these guys never had Oscars before, so it was like a black Oscars anyway.
Yeah, because the guy,
because there was this dishing out bare Oscars to black people that for once.
Yeah, because the guy who directed was a black guy.
Yeah,
do you think they made Will Smith do that? The powers that be.
Some of me still looks at it and say, I don't look at it fake. If it wasn't for what's happening after,
let's go back to the way we was doing it before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's put a couple of sprinkles like on top of it.
I don't know. I said this on my show. It's like if someone can explain to me, because we can say, oh yeah, people do things because the system tells you to do and all that kind of stuff and manoeuvres. Like I believe that there were black people who were paid to tell them take the vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
But they got a check. Yeah, because they wanted black influencers to tell us to take the vaccine.
I wish they paid me.
There you go. Yeah, because I would have said, yeah, take the vaccine. That's some black undercover. Yeah, I took the vaccine. I want to make sure my shit cleared. Yeah, I took it. I feel now. But what was I saying? I was trying.
Just paying them off.
Yeah, for me, it was like, I reckon that slap wasn't about Will. It was come from another place.
Yeah.
That was another place where you have pent up frustrations and listen. The reality is this. You know what I mean? His wife was sleeping with their son's friend.
Yes.
Yeah, and she has humiliated him. Like.
It's a lot though, that's a lot as well.
And doesn't matter, and it's like I've always said, when you're in that world, now look at that. He ain't cancelled, but they've taken away. They've got the power to take away his movie. His movie's not being shown on Netflix or Sony no more.
What, the Williams movie?
Will Smith's. Will Smith's. The catalogue, they're putting it on hold. So why would you because you have to accept that's your part of the world. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a part of the world, but you're not in control of your world. You're a money machine. So why not generate your own money? You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it was like that slap came from a place. Imagine us, this podcast gets to Joe Rogan status. So now you've got to watch, because they're going to pick up, because you're a threat. You know what I mean? What's this called? Live Talks by Io, right? Is a threat.
Io Fawole.
Io Fawole, right?
Say it again.
Io Fawole.
One more time.
Io Fawole.
My man. I don't know the fuck with you. All that, my man.
But you have got honest conversation. This is no different to what Piers Morgan talks. So you imagine you start to take because what talks to them is money, and you take away their money, right? Then they will start to find shit about you. You know what I mean? And this is why they can't cancel you. That's why I said, keep your own, create your own stuff, own your assets, own it, or go about doing it. Don't let no one dictate your future.
That's very true. It has to, I've always thought like that. That's why I try to make sure we do our own stuff. You know what I mean?
New stuff.
You ever been? Has anyone ever thrown anything in the States?
Me?
Yeah.
No, mate.
No. You never had no bad.
I've never been booed. I've never been booed. I've had silence, but I've never been booed.
When did you take comedy seriously?
Oh, boy, when I got my first 20, my first paid 20.
Your first cash?
Yeah, I got paid for it. So,
yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I was there for 20 minutes and I got 200 quid.
Was you nervous?
Oh, this is better than fucking shotting on the road.
Yeah. Think about profit.
20 minutes! I just told jokes, make people laugh and they give me the money.
Yeah.
Even as a black man, I was like, what is this? No way.
I felt like you tripped about any money for a second.
Good.
Yeah.
I took it serious when I think I started to my first 20, and then I was.
What do you mean 20?
He just said it.
First 20 minutes. First 20 minutes.
Got 200 quid for it.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is crazy. I just couldn't fathom it. Because I was just telling stuff I just talked to you guys about with virgins and I'm getting paid for this and this. While you're laughing, that's fucking funny. You didn't know that Barbados until you start talking about it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
do you ever get starstruck Or not, or just even just, you know, like...
I've been in starstruck once.
Go on.
Sanford Latham.
Who?
Sanford Latham. She's the lady who played in The Best Man. Love and Basketball. She was in Predator.
Love and Basketball with Malik.
Yeah.
The main character.
And her dad is Stan Latham, who used to manage Def Jam Comedy.
Okay, so what happened?
I was with my boy It's at a party and she was there.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I said, it's not going to leave no more. I was with a girl. And I said, if I'm going to leave my girl, fuck, that's a movie.
Yeah.
Listen, I was pissed. I was on her!
Course.
Sorry.
She's nice though.
What?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
She don't age as well. Crazy. Man.
When I saw her,
Yeah. What's she wearing?
I didn't get a fuck mate what she wearing. She went a bin liner.
Yeah.
Her face, she just glowed.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. It's just moving. He had to come and talk to me. He said, Quincey, just ease off, innit? What? Listen, this is my one and only chance. I'm not going to see her in Tesco's. I was on her. Wherever she moved, I was like...
Yeah.
Did you speak?
Huh?
Speak.
Yeah, we spoke.
Yeah. So you're making it sound like you were just tailored it.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, I was in her ear. Listen, give me a number, man. We was just talking when you come to London. Snake in my bridge, yeah.
Where was it?
Fuck it, man. No man did that for 1 minute. Nah, he's a waste man. Come to the ends, come to Canning Town. I'll fucking take you.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
We can go to these push bars, I'll take you to a pub.
Try it.
I fucking tried it.
Can you really play basketball?
What do you do for a living? I direct. I didn't fucking direct. It's just fucking... I said anything.
So that you direct?
Yeah, I directed her. I told her I was like, I'll tell her anything to fucking just get her digits. Yeah, it's pretty good to remember now, but yeah, I was on her.
She nice to you?
She was polite, but I think she was a bit intimidated after a while because I was literally like around. I was like, man, people coming out, I was warning, like, I was looking at warning them out, they were fucking. Mine! If I ain't taking it home, no one ain't taking it home. Looks like, man, you did that shit right here. This is my one and only chance. Sanford Latham.
Sanford Latham.
Yeah, I can't say her name properly, so...
Latham.
Latham, pardon me. Sanaya Latham.
Sanaya Latham. Any what you? Where you've had someone that's been on you like that? Like
the tax man.
A fan.
They were on me hard! You were trying to I'm different, man. You mean woman? Is woman being on me? Nah, I don't give me that time. If a woman's on me, I'm gonna smash it. So. I'm not gonna be fucking. I'm gonna prolong that. You're on me, yeah?
No fake attraction.
No. Nah, yes, I know. I've got a couple of fake attractions. No, but I handle my business.
Yeah, huh? You handle your business.
This ain't going out the podcast, yeah.
Questions.
No, I'm just enjoying the conversation. I don't want it to end, but yeah. What kind of things would you like to see happening for you, British comedy?
I want British comedy to be accepted for what it is and not I want British comedy not to be dictated to on TV, on terrestrial TV. It accepts that there are different styles of comedy. Yeah. And every kind of style has got a market for it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And yeah, just be accepted for what it is. Yeah.
That's big.
Anything you not speak?
I like pink, and that's the fucking proper top, mate.
What?
It's a proper top. You know what I mean? What made you choose pink? Because you know they put black man I see and choose pink is Cameron.
Who Cameron?
From Dipset.
Yeah, it's not. It's just the people, part of the team put it together.
Yeah, it's nice.
The team put it together.
Yeah,
the person who deals with this stuff put this together. These guys put that together. the best thing you can have, that's my advice, is a good fucking team, man. You got a good team, you're winning.
Yeah, it's a top. It's a proper pack of top, man. I got my Hugo Boss, but that shit's more expensive than mine.
Sorry?
I got Hugo Boss on, but that's more expensive than mine.
Yeah, do you want one?
Yeah, I like. Well, I'll wear it. I reckon it's right.
Alright, I'll get one.
Yeah, I want a pink one though.
Yeah, sweet.
I want a pink one, large. Like, I can go Zara's there.
Yeah, you like it.
Man, I could go to Zara. That was my achievement. When I got my first suit at Zara, I was like, I've arrived.
Wow, it's so fucking tight.
Yeah, you can't
fitted me.
Guys, you can't shop in there.
Yeah, yeah, tight.
Yeah, bro.
Fucking sick. You got like literally have COVID to fucking shop in there.
And then XLs.
Yeah,
XL have XL. It's like medium.
She wears those.
Nah.
Yeah, you do. Wow.
Nah.
High and mighty.
Everyone wearing the same
That's
size.
to the proper fucking fat motherfucker shops. I was a size 44 waist. I was a 44 waist.
Seriously. I remember going to you when I saw you today. I go, you lost weight.
Yeah.
You look good for it as well.
Yeah, I get a little stomach. I got a little stomach, but I'm in control of it. I watch what I eat now. So as you're getting older, you can't just eat any old shit. You know what I mean? Don't eat late at night. You know what I mean? That's what kills you. And obviously we don't get the sunshine like back home. So you know what I mean? You can eat all that jollof and sweet bread as much as you want, but I mean you burn it off in it. You can't. But them things make. I mean,
How was that journey as well? Because we're gonna wrap up now as well.
Yeah.
So I haven't even eaten anything today. I'm starving. I'm
Starving.
sweating.
You need to eat, man.
So hungry. Just drinking water. How was that journey?
What, losing weight?
Yeah.
So basically,
And what initiated it?
I got type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah, so my knees were hurting me, and I had a car. I was driving everywhere. I just became lazy. You know what I mean? I wasn't playing as much sports as I was before. I was active. You know what I mean? And I woke up and I was just like shivering, and my mum took my blood. It was like literally 22.
22% sugar?
Yeah, it was like it took my blood and it actually put it in a thing, and it spelled Tate and Lyle.
Oh my goodness. I'm dead.
So, yeah, and they put me on these tablets, these metamorphine tablets, and the reality check for me was I was with my mum and dad's, and we was about to have dinner, and all of us popped out the same tablets.
Wow.
I was like, this is mad.
Wow. So it's definitely the diet, isn't it?
It's the diet, you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean. Sunday, your mum does food. It's like a Viking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like 4, and you're not running it off. You're going to sleep.
Yeah, slumps.
You're a proper lump, man. You know what I mean? Then that's why I never brought my girl around to my mum's. That's the time she go down your phone. You know, yeah. Any girl gives you food. You know what I mean? Be wary, yeah. Fuck that. I drink Coke. Just keep myself away. But yeah, that was a reality check for me, and I'll never forget. I said, "Nah, I can't do this. Is not my life." And it was the acceptance from my parents as well. My mum was a nurse. That's what it made me think. She's accepted she got diabetes. I said, "No, I ain't doing this," because the next stage is injections. You know what I mean? And
well, I didn't know nothing about that.
yeah, insulin. I said, "No, I ain't going down this road. I don't like needles." And I rang my mate. I said, "I'm coming back boxing." Is it right? So how can I? There's only one discipline you can lose weight like that. And it's boxing. Not any kind of martial art, but boxing training is the only. Yeah, and I gave myself a goal. I said, I went back and I said, I'm going to have a fight, and I'm going to give the money what I raised to the ACLT.
So you fight as well. I last guest for as well. We do white collar.
Ah, I done semi-pro.
Semi-pro?
Exhibition fight. Exhibition.
So you're a boxer.
Oh my.
Very
I
humble.
lost my first one.
Very humble man, aren't you, sir?
Yeah, you have to break it down, man. You tell people you box and they just fucking want to fucking fight.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't do that shit no more. They tell you, I've been watching Nigel Benn, he used to say like, people used to offer him out all the time because they want to test you in. It's like, I ain't got time.
You're older and wiser, isn't it?
Yeah, I ain't got time.
That's
My first fight, I lost my first fight.
Yes.
Pissed.
Yeah, I want to know more right now, innit?
Huh?
You don't want to know more, innit? About the boxing. Guys, what happened?
I lost. I on stage, I don't say I
One of
lost.
the first fights you lost, because you talk about winning a lot of fights as a youngster and stuff, and when it's no cousin telling you that if you get shot,
you know what I mean?
No more.
The one with rules and regulations, I lost. The one in the street, I won. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I went back boxing. My first fight was a Spanish guy. He flew him over.
Wow. He was hungrier than you then.
It was
not Mexican.
No, when I found him, I full like Mexican. I told him I ain't fighting no travellers, no Mexican. Anywhere where there's a war-torn country, I'm not fighting them. Anything where a man needs a passport. Straight up. I told him straight. I ain't fighting no man who needs a passport. Fuck that. Get me a man who's working that Monday. They flew him in. He was a doctor. But he was like, and this is why I love. This is why I've always loved boxing, because I was going in there. I know why I lost, because it was ego. Because I'm gonna knock this man out. And boxers will always beat a fighter.
Yeah.
Because he just boxed me, he just kept his distance. He weren't getting. I was trying to engage.
Yeah.
And I thought I was on the street, innit?
You say that again for me, please. Boxers will always beat a fighter. Yeah. I like that.
Always beat. I mean.
Patience.
So what?
So twice I beat Dante Wilder.
Did he knock you out? Did he knock you down?
Nah. If he did, I wouldn't be telling the story. I love them points. I'll be telling I do some other sport. Yeah, I do hang gliding. I play chess from time to time. Who tells them I got beat up?
See that, going back now, how was that as well? Like, you done that?
I loved it, man.
It's nice.
I loved it, man.
And have you been able to reverse it? Because we had some people...
I won my last fight I won, and I said, well, that's it.
Yeah, I'm talking about diabetes, but go on.
It's caged. So
it's caged.
Yeah, so you never get rid of it. You know what I mean? It's always there, because you've got to take care of I had to change my lifestyle. So that's why, there were moments where I know my body. And if I eat biscuits, I do the wrong things and eat late at night, it's gonna come back and bite you, because our bodies are not, and the weather here is not adapted to that. There's a lot of processed foods around, so I make sure I prepare what I eat. I drink my 4 litres a day. I mean, I've got, even in my bag here, I've got some porridge and stuff like that, and just put some water in it.
I'm hungry, can I have some?
Yeah, you got to put some water, you can have it. You know. But,
What made you start? What made you grow your dreads?
What's that out of the hair?
Yeah. So my daughter's mum said to me,
sorry, and that's the second baby mother, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really go into that.
This is going at the mother of my child.
Yeah.
Because she don't like it. Yeah. Mother of my child.
Yes, your mother of your child.
But she pisses me off. She's my baby mum.
Yeah.
The mother of my child.
The mother of my child.
Yeah. And we were chatting. She goes to me, you know what? Some guy walked past in locks. And she said, I would never date a man with locks. And at that time I went out.
I'm lost.
I want to have a relationship, innit? So she said, she never dated a man with locks. When she said that, the day later I was twisting my hair.
His ex said she saw a man with locks go past. I'll never date a man with locks.
No, I got it now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's gonna bring it down.
Hard cry.
It was good enough.
The first come.
And she got about 6 months. She goes, are you gonna cut your hair? And our relationship finished on our daughter's first birthday.
Wow. Done, for real?
Yeah. And I walked out with my dread lock self.
You happy?
It's done! Yeah!
You still eat bacon?
Huh?
You still eat bacon?
I'm an East End.
That's what I'm saying.
Even the pork.
You've got the beans to cross.
It's just really funny when Dread see me or Ras is like, and they see, because I embrace you. I mean, we look up and
you probably look like a rapper.
Yeah, and then they come to you and it's like blessed. And I'm like, mate, it's okay. I'm looking good, like I'm confused. Yeah, it's your old girl. She's alright.
I've never seen you eat a bacon sandwich or anything pork.
One time, yeah.
One
time, yeah. I was at a dinner, Christmas dinner, and everyone's queuing. They queue up to get the food in it. All the trays are out, it's a buffet and that. And they put me with all the fucking dreads in it. All around me was all fish, like I was a fucking fish. You know what I mean? And I look at it, all I realised just eating fucking pork, chicken, lamb, mutton. Put me around, what the fuck am I, fisherman? And
put him to the Ital side.
Put me to the Ital side. Fuck, I wanted beans and I wanted rice.
That changed your look, mate.
Fuck, I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I had to sit there and eat with everyone talking about fucking Moses and conversations about Celestia. Like, oh yeah.
You keep them though. Huh? You keep them though.
My locks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have they ever like got at you for seeing you eat the food? Like?
I don't give a fuck.
That's not.
No, but that's what he's asking. You never had that like, hold on a minute.
No, and this is the only reason. Because of the diabetes, I don't eat as much red meat as I used to. The pork ting, I don't. I mean, I eat a sausage and that, but I don't have like bacon sandwiches like I did back in the day. And I had bacon sandwiches when I was taking my sons to football.
I love it, bacon sandwiches.
The smell of it. Bacon sandwich and a cup of tea, like on a Sunday football.
What, tomato ketchup or daddy's sauce?
Tomato ketchup all day. Yeah, but bacon sandwich, the smell of it is fucking. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's the smell of it. But there's a couple of times I've been out, you know what I mean, some of the wrestlers have seen me, just look at them. they shake their head like. Judge, I was smoked.
Fashion dread.
Yeah, this fashion dread's fucking hungry.
Fashion dread, I've never heard that term before. I'm wrapping up.
Yeah, man.
It's been interesting. Very interesting.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about you, man. You're a serious man. I mean, all of you, I respect you a lot more than when you first come on here.
I like that.
Maybe laugh. That's real, man.
I heard he was a pussy hole before. I actually respect you.
No. As live talks with AO Fawole. Quincey, comedian.